Hi, everyone. My name is Rachel Downey, and we will be presenting on LGBTQA plus undergraduate students. I work specifically at the Center for Students in Transition as a graduate student for student success. My pronouns are she, her, hers, and my undergraduate institution was completed at Beloit College.
I'm Mikala Leath. I use she, her, hers pronouns, and I'm the graduate building manager for the Indiana Memorial Union. And I completed my undergraduate degree at the University of Tennessee, Knoxville.
And hi, everyone. My name is Maddy Mead. I use she, they pronouns. I am currently a graduate supervisor for diversity education, and I completed my undergraduate degree at Kent State University.
All right, and I will be starting us off with a population overview. Often to the left here, we have lesbian, gay, bisexual, queer, asexual plus students, LGBTQA, who are minoritized by their sexual identity, and they are defined by their non-heteronormative standards of attraction dominant within the US context within higher education. Now, in terms of acronyms, we do use a lot throughout this brief. Often T is involved, which stands for trans students. They are defined by minoritized gender identity, not necessarily sexuality, but we use the acronym that corresponds with the sources that we use, since those two groups are often under the same umbrella. In one study out of 8,000 graduate students, 21% identified as LGBTQA. Moving on to some relevant terms, we wanted to define sexuality and sexual orientation as an individual's position on attraction, sexual behavior, romantic orientation, and sexual orientation identity. Gender is very different. It is defined as both a cultural phenomenon and a way people identify, express, and embody socially ascribed norms relating to their assigned sex at birth. I think of it as a construct of how one thinks of themselves in the third person. Heterosexism is our next term. It is the ideology that denies and rejects people who identify as other than heterosexual. This is the main form of oppression that this student group faces in terms of a system that is against them. Coming out is our last term. It is a personal and ongoing process where a LGBTQA plus person identifies and accepts their minoritized sexual identity. There are varying levels of outness, and it's also important to note if one of these students is not out, it's very important that they still receive the resources and validation that they deserve in higher ed spaces and elsewhere. Moving on to historical backgrounds and current trends. This student group was founded via secret societies due to institutional persecution. The first official recognized LGBT plus center emerged in the early 70s, but today there are more LGBT student groups on campuses than there are official centers. Also today, we find a lot more students are trying to seek acceptance. They're 4 times more likely to report picking a university in a different city or state to seek a more welcoming climate than non-LGBTQ peers. So this indicates that students are seeking acceptance in higher ed, but through particular institutions. One very important current trend that we wanted to talk about was a major mental health concern for this population. LGBTQ students attending 4-year colleges were 3 times more likely to report poor mental health than non-LGBTQ peers, including being twice as likely to report a diagnosis of mental health, a mental health problem such as depression, anxiety, PTSD, eating disorders, suicidal ideation. And the graph off to the side here, which indicates LGBTQ people in yellow and non-LGBTQ people in blue, indicates that there is that higher rate of disorders diagnosed, mental health issues. And I will pass it off to Mikala.
I'll be starting off with collegiate experience. LGBTQ students have negative perceptions of their campus climate, which can persist today. These students also have academic-related concerns, and those can include campus safety, their curricular content and structure, rapport with faculty members, and their writing ability. These students receive a lack of support from peers and faculty, a lack of LGBTQ plus inclusive content, courses, and program offerings, and a lack of resources, along with engagement with these campus resources, which can significantly impact LGBTQ plus perception of their classroom environment. At the administrative level, retention and graduation research doesn't typically cover the experiences of this population, despite the risks they pose for dropping out. This can lead people of this population to feel very invisible on an administrative level. Issues of development. LGBTQ plus students are more at risk to suffer from harassment, bullying, and poor mental health, as we can see in the diagram here to the left, where LGBTQ students are indicated in yellow and their non-LGBTQ peers are indicated in blue. This is incredibly relevant as the unifying model of sexual identity development considers social identity important to LGBTQ student development. But according to Maslow's hierarchy of needs, safety needs must be met before social needs, such as love and belonging or esteem, can be explored. As we can see in the figure below, this is relevant for students as LGBTQ students are less likely to experience a sense of belonging at their colleges than their non-LGBTQ peers. And this suggests that until our LGBTQ students can feel safe in their campus environment, they won't be able to fully experience their social identity. Next on to Maddy.
And now moving into diversity within the population. LGBTQA plus spaces are predominantly white, and they often favor white, cisgendered, and able-bodied gay men. This often neglects LGBTQA plus students with multiple minoritized identities based on gender, race, ethnicity, ability, and their social class. There's often a lack of intersectionality within the research and these spaces. Bisexual, asexual, and pansexual students can also be marginalized and discriminated against within their own community based on a lack of visibility and acceptance for their particular sexual orientation. And then LGBTQ plus students thrive in spaces that recognize and affirm multiple identities. So as we see that there's a lack of intersectionality, this is what LGBTQ plus students are looking for. And then moving on to implications and strategies for higher education, it's crucial that we give LGBTQA plus students a space for them to safely explore their minoritized sexual identities. We also want to validate closeted and out students' experiences with sensitivity, openness, and curiosity. Institutions need to create and maintain comprehensive and affirming LGBTQA plus oriented policies, resources, and especially mental health resources. As we talked about, this is something that this group struggles with a lot. And we also want to focus on programming and creating safe spaces. When looking at resources and programming, this should all be informed by an intersectional ideology to ensure that the needs of minoritized individuals within the LGBTQA plus student population are being met. As we said before, intersectionality is something that they're looking for, so this needs to be throughout all programming and initiatives that take place within the higher education space. So this concludes our presentation on LGBTQA plus undergraduate students. We wanted to say thank you so much for taking the time out of your day to learn more with us. If you are looking to learn more, you can check out our executive brief, which has more information and also offers additional readings. Thank you so much again, and we hope you have a good rest of your day.